Hello and welcome. So this is a follow-up video for the previous Mythbuster video, especially regarding the topic around buffing the Galio. Now there was some confusion. Honestly, I didn't really fully understand how the Galio worked, but I went a little bit deeper, researched this a bit on the PBE, and I think I have a fairly good grasp about what you need to do to buff the Galio. So first things first, what is Galio? Well, the thing is, I think Galio is probably the closest to the Elementalist Golem from set 1 in the way that he spawns. The Galio right now, I mean, he shows up here, right? But that's not actually his position. The way Galio works right now is that he spawns on the very first row on the very first hex. And this is like always, 100% of the time. But you don't see him. He's invisible. He's like, he pretty much just doesn't exist. He's invisible and you can't really interact with him in any kind of way. But, and this is important, if you put a Zika, for example, on the hex next to the first one, then the Galio will always spawn where the like next to the Elise and will always receive the Zika buff, which we can see. Wait, let me just skip forward just a tiny bit. So here's the thing. The Galio has a base attack speed of 0.65. So if I right click the Galio here, you can see he has 0.88, which means that Galio got the Zika buff. And this works 100% of the time. I've tried this like a lot. I've not seen a single situation with this setup where it ended up not working. So if you're looking to do any sort of buffing the Galio, then the only thing for you to remember is have the Zika or the Chalice on the second position in the first row. The Galio will always spawn here and he will get buffed. Now in the video, and this was what kind of also caused the confusion, in the video the Pike was in the very first position. So, and it only worked sometimes. Well, why is that? Well, at that point we didn't really understand how the Galio was properly working. See, the thing about Galio that you have to understand is that if his hex, which is this one, right now where Elise is standing, she's blocking the Galio. So if that hex is blocked, what would happen? Well, he acts like the Daisy from set 1, the Elementalist Golem, and now he will spawn either to the right of her, below her, or above her, because he's going to like jump over the Elise. He cannot take the same hex as her. And this is kind of what happened when we put the Pike here in the VOD. We just got lucky that the Galio spawn was like over the Elise to the right of her. And it was never like Elise buffing Galio from the left. She was from the right. Like Elise never buffed him from the right. Elise ended up buffing him from the left. And this is what happened in the Pike VOD. And when I put the Callista in with a Zika there, and she ended up not buffing him, that was simply because the Galio either spawned above the Callista or below the Callista. And this is pretty much just a 33% chance. But knowing this, we can abuse this, and let me skip a bit forward. Okay, we can use this setup. Okay, so knowing how Galio works, see, this is very easy to test, because if you look at the current setup, if Galio spawns between Elise and Lysandra, he will gain bonus AP and bonus attack speed. If he spawns below Elise and next to Ophelius, he will gain the attack speed twice. If he spawns above the Elise, he will receive nothing. And if it was ever possible for him to spawn down here, he would receive the locket, or, I mean, I tried this with other stuff too, but truth to be told, he can't spawn here as far as I can tell. So you can ignore this. So as far as I can tell, you know, there's a 33% chance for him to spawn below Elise, right to Elise, or above Elise. And why is this relevant? Well, because we can manipulate this to an extent. So for example, if we take a look at this setup, the Twisted Fate is now blocking the position below the Elise. So now there's only two possible ways to spawn for Galio, which is above Elise and to the right of Elise. So this puts us at a 50% chance of Galio receiving the Zika and Chalice buff, which makes it possible in about half of the fights for Galio to have a potential buff from 3 Zekas and from 3 Chalice additionally. So in case you want to try to create some kind of super duper Galio, then this is the set. You don't even need this Aphelios, honestly. It really is only about blocking the position below the Elise, creating a 50-50 scenario here. And yeah, this is the way that you can buff Galio with a total of 6 items. But if you're only looking to buff him with a very simple setup, then like I said, like I explained before, the only thing you're going to require is to have the guy that's supposed to be buffing the Galio on the first row on the second hex. And that's pretty much the mystery solved on how to buff the Galio. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Follow-up video. Make sure to subscribe for these types of content. And yeah, see you guys the next time.